10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Evil geniuses turn to bad. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Team Liquid's turn to pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Dusk.
Evil geniuses turn to pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Bounty Hunter.
Evil geniuses turn to
Disruptor!
Pick. Team Liquid's turn to pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Lycan.
Evil geniuses turn to bad. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Team Liquid's turn to bad. Evil geniuses turn to bad. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Team Liquid's turn to ban. Evil geniuses turn to pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Faceless Void.
Team Liquid's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
I speak for the trees.
Evil geniuses turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Legion Commander!
Team Liquid's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Dragon Knight.
Evil geniuses turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Team Liquid's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. 10 seconds remaining. Team Liquid's turn to pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. 5 seconds remaining.
Ancient apparition.
Evil geniuses turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Storm Spirit.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, that's right. I'm Gareth. Joining me is Blitz, and we are getting into game number 2 here. This best of 3 Evil Geniuses against Team Liquid. And not only do we have a Lycan from Atomic Man, an AA again this patch, but we've got the Storm for Sumail.
Yep. I've talked to a few players that also specialize on Storm. There's like 3 people, but most of the people agree that Storm is a very situational pick. It's not something that we're going to see every single game, but for a game like this, as soon as they picked it, what did I tell you? I said,
This is a godly Storm game.
This is a godly Storm game because there are almost no disables on the side of Liquid, and the disables that there are, you've got 1 melee range stun from Fada. When he pops the Dragon Form, of course, it gets a lot better, but even then, the follow-up isn't fantastic, and Storm is really good against Nature's Prophet. In Ancient Apparition, Tusk, all of these non-hard disable supports. So if a player is going to win a game for EG, look towards Sumail making a lot happen.
Okie dokie. I guess you can ball lightning into Snowball and stop the stun from that as well and keep yourself alive. But some of the more interesting things about EG's draft as well. Let's have a look at this. So AUI, Poor Man's Shield looks like what is a safe lane Legion Commander. Bulba Faceless Void for the offlane. And we've seen a bit of a shift from Faceless Voids away from big wombo combos and relying heavily on land chrono, kill 3 people in chrono with, like a meatball and all that nonsense. Oh god, look at that. See, I love the old chat from Complexity the other day, but PPD as well as Fanta having a bit of a go at it in the
I don't know if people know PPD very well, but he is very much being sarcastic here. I know it's not clear, but there's no reason Fada would bring it up at this point, right? If he was going to, he would have just played out the next game as well. So both Fada just trying to have a little bit of sportsmanship, making sure that he doesn't have a competitive advantage. No reason not to believe him, especially if he's going to bring it up now.
Why do you have 2 Liquids Blue Valve bugged us? Liquid karaoke. Not just 1, but 2. I was wondering what he was asking, whether he had a bottle of water and a can of Monster or something like that, but no, he's talking about the name. So, AUI, Safe Lane Legion Commander. Now, this pick came in what seemed like response to the Lycan. You got that hard lockdown, the duel, to be able to blink in onto him, but is there anything else it offers you? Wave clear against Wolves and Nature's Prophet Treants? Is that something you look for as well?
That's going to be a lot of it, and also, if they were planning on taking the Storm pick, Press the Attack is very good for getting rid of their 1 stun.
Ooh.
Obviously going to have some applications in picking off a hero like Nature's Prophet as well. If Nature's Prophet tries to go for that split push, you have somebody that can instantly jump, keep it locked down for a hard amount of time.
Well, it looks like the players might need a black sheet or a black blanket to block themselves in and stop what they can see, but they'll get this all sorted out. Now, EG, this is of course the winner bracket. They're 1 game down against Team Liquid currently. PPD, he gets himself the Disruptor. We've seen him play, a lot of these kind of selfless supports, the Abaddon, the Bane. You kind of sit behind your core heroes and you make sure that they can stay alive. Rarely in that kind of initiation role, but here, if EG can get on the aggressive, How many ways of catch have they got here? Glimpse, the ball roll in from the Storm, they've got Jump Chrono, Blink Duel, and to top it all off, they've got this bounty to give vision across all enemy heroes as well. So it's not just we've got catch, but we've got the vision advantage potentially.
If you remember the combo that eHome used, I think it was eHome. That was CT. Was it eHome? I'm pretty sure it was eHome. It was eHome versus Secret at TI5, where they ran Bounty Hunter plus Storm to get back into the game and help them win. This is a very dangerous combination, mainly because all it takes is a few kills. Storm is a very snowball-oriented hero, I would know. Plus Bounty Hunter helps with that quite well. Probably one of my top 3 favorite supports to play with when I am playing Storm, just because of what he can do for you. He enables you to snowball. He scouts ahead of you, which is so important for a hero like Storm. You want to know what you're walking into.
And he gives you lots of money.
Yeah.
And he gives you lots of money. Oh.
Haven't talked enough about Liquid's lineup,
Yeah,
though.
I was just about to look towards this one.
In the last game, we focused so much on EG's lineup because of what we thought the track could do. But in a game like this...
Tempo control is key.
Yes.
And Lycan, with Nature's Prophet, very heavy on the tempo control. Once it get like, what, 7-8 minutes? Maybe look at 10 minutes and they're going to be pushing towers?
Yeah. Well, we saw out of Vega, they used to be, in my opinion, the best team against Bounty Hunters because of their ability to 5-man, carry sentries and dust around like crazy at all times, and just push out the other team to make that Bounty Hunter useless. Of course, the one downside of Bounty Hunter, as we saw, is he doesn't add anything into these team fights. You have to expect your teams to carry you. You have to look for these one-off pickoffs. As Jirax just going for the subtle wave and the crowd reacts, but...
The 2 pretty little Finnish boys. Look at them. Matu and Jirax.
Man, now that just threw off my... I was having this really quick point.
Did you see his wave and now...
Yeah, so Vega, they decided to just straight up push, right? They had heroes like Tusk that would just couch out the Bounty Hunter when he tried to go for one of those one-off track kills. And that's why you see Tusk often against the Bounty Hunter, because you have that ability to gap close against him. The Ice Shards can hold him in place. You have things that can scout ahead for you as well. And that's also why we see the Lycan. Because now you've got a hero that will punish this Bounty Hunter. You're not going to team fight against a Lycan who's got Necro Book 3? Okay, there goes the Tier 2 tower. Repeat the cycle. There goes Roshan. And Bounty Hunter at some point has to fight into this. And any sort of Necro 3 hero obviously lends itself to being quite good against the hero.
Alright then, now another thing to look at. Last game we saw that Lone Druid allow the AA to get his level 6 very fast. You know, you saw Matumman switch back into the jungle once he got his Midas, and Kuroki sat up there for a good, 4 or 5 waves getting into that level 6. Matumman Lycan can do that with his hero. He is able to, once he gets like his Vlads, he can dip back into the jungle. But EG, not sure they're going to be allowing that. Place some aggressive wards into the jungle and make sure they know where Matumman is. Maybe try and snipe him off and not go for the AA.
Yeah, it seemed like EG in that last game just had a little bit of flaws in where they wanted to go in terms of with their Bounty Hunter. It just never really seemed like there was a good place for Fear to go. Remember when he went mid and it was that 3-on-3 engagement and both him and Sumil died? They weren't really sure if they were going to take that full-on fight. Then they went top, but they weren't able to make anything happen in that lane because Bobo was level 1 for such a long time. This time around though, they've got a Bulba special in the Faceless Void. Again, the Bounty Hunter for Fear. Hopefully they can make something happen if EG are going to win this game, because at the same time, Liquid, their 5-man team is very strong.
It's absolutely insane.
Chilling touch on all these heroes. You've got a lot of different range heroes for this. Tusk is your gap closer, Nature's Prophet, plus the Lycan lots of summons. The game is still paused, so we're back on camera. Hello.
Dragon form and shapeshift for the DK and the Lycan. And you know, you were saying earlier that we've kind of moved away from, you know, relying on multiple cooldowns, big teamfight ultimates, you know, your big combos. And now you're looking at maybe 1 or 2 heroes that want to expend those ultimates and just win a teamfight straight out. Are these 2 ultimates that Liquid are going to be maybe holding on to a little bit until they push into a tower and until they look for fights?
Yeah, the one thing about Liquid's lineup is, like we talked about, low cooldowns. You can go for fights early on, and often EG, on the other hand, can actually fight too. I think I was talking about this with Paul on the panel. It just seems like the low cooldown meta, where you want to be able to be in fighting shape at all times, be able to rotate as 5. I think we talked about that too earlier when we weren't casting. Looks like
And I guess Storm is one of the kings of low cooldowns.
Yeah.
Ball Lightning, Remnants, what, 3.5 seconds? I mean, we saw Samel the other day go for the Storm, and he's still kind of stuck with the farming Storm. He didn't go for early points in Vortex. I heard a couple of players, talking to No Diggity the other night, and they were saying, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to go back for the Vortex build. Just be active early on. But
we saw, who was it? S4 go for it. Man, I could just talk about Storm builds and why it's cool. I don't even know if I'm supposed to.
We've got time.
I have no bias towards teams, just this hero.
Just this hero.
And it's got to be obnoxious for some people, but for the one person that really cares about this stuff, the reason why you decided to go for the Vortex, and part of the reason why Storm became weird was because two things. One, there's now that bottleneck at level 11, where it's so hard to get over, right? Where you have to get a lot of experience to get from 11 to 12. So before the build was 4-1-4-2. Which adds up to 11, right? So now at level 11 you have that only one level of Vortex, which isn't very useful. And the reason why you went for that was because you could clear jungle stacks really efficiently. But now you're in a position where you can't clear jungle stacks efficiently at all with Remnant, and Vortex, you need to get at least 2 levels of it to be effective in fights. So what does that mean? It means you have to skip out either on a level of Overload or a level of Remnant so that you can go for the extra level of the Electric Vortex. Okay. So now you start to see variations in the build where you can go for something like 4-2-3-2. Usually that just means 4 in a Remnant, 2 in a Vortex, 3 in an Overload, 1 into ulti. Or I think S4 was going for 3-3-2-2.
Okay. So it's just something that players are kind of tinkering with, and from game to game it will differ depending on what you need and what you want.
Oh wait, no, he went 3-3-3-2. That's what I meant.
3-3-3-2? Okay.
It just depends on how you're going to use the Storm and how active you're going to get. Alright, now that that's done, we should never talk about that hero again, because we focus way too much on it now.
Perfectly fine with that.
We're paused though, so I hope that was okay during that time period. That's the only time I'll ever talk about it.
Just make sure, tweet at Blitz Dota, or Blitz_Dota with all your Storm pictures, your fan art.
I feel really bad now that we shouldn't have had that talk.
Make sure you teach him how to play the hero, because he's got no bloody clue what he's talking about. Storm is not in his wheelhouse, is it, Blitz? At all?
Yeah.
No, not anymore anyway. More of a... What do you play now?
I really like Ember nowadays. Yeah? It's very fun. Now that now that Invoker's a little bit out of the meta, it feels better. And the supports are kind of weak against it right now. I was talking to Synderen about it. There's like a pub meta that kind of gets evolved out of whatever people see that the pros play, and Ember seems okay right now.
Okay.
The game is still paused, by the way. We're just trying to fix some technical issues so that no shenanigans happen, by the way, for people on stream that are kind of curious as to know why
we keep flashing back from camera to camera. I keep, wondering. I don't want to be picking my nose or anything when the camera switches back to us, and Blitz may be cuddling me a little bit. I'm not capped, but I am warm. People are clapping. I wonder if we're getting back into things, but the game is still... Well, like just clapping for Kuro. Look at him. He's riling his team up, getting them pumped for the game coming through. Now, Legion Commander. We actually saw Legion... Oh no, we can't go back to that topic, can we? The infinite scaling heroes, the Legion and the Storm. Was it Alliance against OG?
It was Alliance against OG,
Alliance
game
against
number 2.
OG.
Yeah,
they had a Kotal, though. They had a Kotal.
Yeah.
So...
But that was a much better game for OG, just because they had a lot of different ways to deal with the Storm. Whereas in this game, if you look at Team Liquid's lineup, they've got to burst him down in Fada's ultimate.
Okay. Well, looks like Somail's ready. Fata's definitely not, though. Now, Evil Geniuses. This, of course, is a bit of a rivalry between them and Team Liquid and TI3.
Even then, it goes beyond that. This is an organizational thing, yeah.
In the region, I mean, Liquid is, a European org, but it's always had NA teams, and EG, of course, has pretty much always had NA teams. There's been that battle between them across games, through StarCraft, maybe not so much in CS:GO. EG don't dabble in that, but Dota 2 as well.
In Dota 2. Most of them have kind of avoided each other for the most part, so we haven't really had a lot of clashes, and since then, both of these teams have been incredibly competitive. The last time we saw them play, obviously, was at Shanghai Major, where Liquid knocked EG out, EG finishing a very respectable third. Obviously, that was with a different lineup. And
That was a 2-0 as well.
And I think part of this too is kind of proving who's the better captain. PPD, for some reason, always lineup changes around him, but he keeps his squad steady. Like whoever he has to play with, it's like we can make this work.
He's the common factor between all these teams.
Exactly. He's the guy that you can point to and say, or him, Fear, and Sumail, they've been together as a unit for a lot of changes, and they've still made a lot of things work. They add AEY, a player that they want TI with. Bulbo, who was their coach at that event. So this team, they've got to feel pretty good about their chances. Obviously getting third at We Play, looking pretty good here at this event. Beating both VP, beat VP twice, right? And they beat, also they've beaten at this event. They lost to Newbie, or they beat VP, then they beat VP again? I guess that's what it was.
We'll make sure that the trifecta of players can hold this one together. Team Liquid, how long have they been together now? Funfyung's formed what, sort of...
That was during MLG New Orleans qualifier time.
It was like straight after TI5,
yeah,
wasn't
it was
it?
straight after
TI5, like 3 weeks, a month or something after TI.
You know what's funny? They were, when Kuro and Fada were thinking about who to play with, they actually had considered KP.
Oh yeah?
From Newbie, because they know that he spoke English and was a very good player, but ultimately decided not to because if it's not a perfect fit, obviously him being Australian would cause some issues. They didn't want to waste his time.
Fly him over to Europe.
Yeah, exactly. And if it doesn't work out, then it would put him in an opposition. But random fact, right? Now that he ends up on such a
the best team in the world now.
Yeah, that's.
They did go on a bit of a crazy run, but OG did topple them. Look at that Roshan. Such beautiful work that Epicenter have done here,
that thing
honestly.
is awesome.
The team intros,
the stage is absurd.
Projection mapping onto these nice little, I don't know what to call, like statues is the word that comes to mind, but
yeah. What people can't see is if you look up at the roof, it actually tells you when the game is nighttime and daytime. So right now, obviously it's daytime. You see this giant sun reflected by clouds.
There's clouds, blue sky.
It's awesome. And then as soon as it turns night, you look up at the roof and it just turns dark.
And with Night Stalker, when he pops his ultimate, there's bats that appear and it's all, super spooky.
We sound like we're product placementing, but
it is legit cool. It is really good looking.
I've never seen something like that. I remember because we were on the beanbags and I looked up and I was like, that thing is amazing. I'm the least product shilling person. But that one was awesome. I still haven't tried Russian McDonald's though. I remember I asked for that.
Really?
Yeah.
Every event you go to, every country you go to.
I gotta try their McDonald's.
Did you have a spreadsheet or something?
No, but I've kind of got this internal ticker in my head for what's good.
What's your ranking? So, what's your top 5 McDonald's? Because you said.
I don't know if I'm biased, but Korean McDonald's is really sick.
You said Croatia was good?
Croatia was good too, yeah.
Okay.
Croatia was good too.
Why is America not on there?
America was pretty bad. I don't know why I said was. I'm an American.
American McDonald's is bad.
Yeah, it's great. But looks like we're getting just to give you guys an update so you know what's going on.
They are literally putting black sheets on top.
They're trying to solve this issue right now, so we can ensure fair play. Just don't want you guys to think anything weird is happening or that it's going to take too much longer.
Yeah, you guys haven't seen the chat as we're going through this, but EG have said we don't mind. We don't think you're going to be cheating. We can play the game if you want. Of course, the admins and Liquid just want to be perfectly sure that no one thinks there's no chance whatsoever that any
you're not going to
advantage. No, of course not.
EG just want to play. Yeah, they've been in positions where I think they respect Liquid as a team, so they'll say whatever. Let's just go on. But obviously this. Why even risk it? Because it looks like the problem is being fixed pretty soon. Oh, we're back in camera again. Cool.
Oh, hello. How you doing?
Good. I look shorter than you on this camera, but I don't think that I am.
You look shorter than me?
Yeah, because I have long legs, but short body.
I think I'm a bit taller than you.
Are you? How tall are you? Oh,
I'm 6 foot.
Oh, okay, you are.
Yeah. I'm like between 5'11" and 6 foot. I just like to say I'm 6 foot, to sound I'm 6 foot, But I think I'm 181 centimeters, which is just below.
I have no idea what the conversion is.
That's why I said 6 foot.
I appreciate it.
Yep, you're welcome. What's Peter said now? How's it going? Yeah, we're actually watching people up on top of the booths. They're sewing, they're knitting, they're ripping fabric up and looking pretty good. And
Hopefully it'll just be a few more minutes, guys, as you can gaze into the glorious Roshan mouth that they built.
yeah, that thing there is actually just white. Like in real life, without anything on it, it is just a white statue. But there's projectors and all this projection mapping, kind of like we had at TI5, where they had ultimates shooting out over the screen. We had it at the Frankfurt Major as well, where when an ultimate is cast, projectors show on the kind of on the field of battle. And actually, they've got that up on the top as well, Blitz.
Yeah.
Sonic waves and stuff start flying across the whole stadium, and it's very cool to watch.
You know what I love about this crowd?
Oh,
Whenever random Navi chants just start.
Yeah, during the OG newbie
Yeah.
game, it's like OG, newbie, and then someone goes Navi.
Okay.
Davai, harosh. We're getting underway again. It looks like the game has begun again. And of course, for those of you just joining us, this is Game 2 between Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid in a best of 3. Game 1 went the way of Team Liquid, and they've actually started to group themselves up. We saw a 4v4 top rune battle in the previous game. It looks like we might see something even bigger, a 5v5 rune battle now in this game as they all start posturing around, but Fear is the little
There's no way you
devil.
can fight this.
He's hiding, he's scouting, he knows what's going on, and he will tell his team to get the hell out.
Yeah. Liquid would win that fight handily. They have Tusk, they've got Ancient Apparition, they have 5 different heroes that could fight, and EG effectively have 2. Even then, it's not great.
Yeah, 1.5.
Liquid smoked up for this. This is a really odd situation that's developing here. Is it looks like they're trying to make sure that Sumail doesn't get a bounty rune, but
He's gonna get the bottom one.
yeah, that was odd. I think they were hoping that EG would rotate to top, and they could take the fight up there. But instead, 50 gold goes down the drain.
Don't get anything out of it. Now, how do the lanes actually look? Mind Control, Nature's Prophet up at top is...
Oh, PPD actually went for the smoke. He's gonna go for the courier.
Oh, is he? Cheeky little devil.
Yeah, there's just obviously not gonna be a level 1 gank for Storm Spirit, but might find the courier with this.
It's gonna be relatively kind of delayed with the fact that it's a Stout Shield and a Quelling Blade, and Tango's bought by the DK.
Maybe he was hoping... Well, this was odd, because if he saw Fada's item build, then he has to know. Instead, he's just going to go back for the harass, but he had to... If he clicks Fada, then he sees the Quelling Blade and the Stout Shield, and you have gold left over for salve if you want it. So if he doesn't go for the salve there, he would have bought the salve in the first place, is what I mean.
Okay. Well, Mind Control 1v1 up against AUI on that Legion Commander. So Poor Man Shield on her means that they really wanted to set up these lanes this way. You deal with the Treants, you don't get harassed too much, and then they've placed Fear down towards his bottom lane in a dual lane with Bulba's Void, while Kuroki, this AA, you have to be babysat a little bit by Jerax's Tusk, because it is a dangerous spot to be in down there. I'm a Tumberman on the Lycan as well, just trying to get his last hits in, but it's still the mid lane. Sparta deals with a Thunder Strike from PPD, and Sumail, he's sitting pretty 6-4, while DK 3-0, but again, Blitz, we saw this in the previous game. When Fata gets the disadvantageous matchup, the DK against the DP, he gets, demolished in lane in CS terms. Sumail tripled up on him, it was like 30-4 compared to 10-0 by 6 or 7 minutes. But this time around, the Storm Spirit against the DK, how is this matchup actually going to pan out?
The Storm is obviously going to do quite well against any sort of melee hero. Storm usually thrives on matchups where he's even. Any matchup where he's going to get even farm in, he's going to be incredibly happy. And matchups that he's going to get ahead in, going to be even happier, because Storm is always going to be the hero that you want to scale a little bit better going into the mid game. And if you're going to help out a mid lane, or if you're going to help out a lane, it's going to be the mid one. Typically, though, laning phase doesn't mean too much, just because of what you can do in the mid game with certain lineups. Especially if you look at Liquids, it's going to be very mid game centered when they get their summons up and running.
Kuroki has left this point. He's about to hit level 2, but he hasn't skilled anything yet, and I've just realized they've got Howl and Chilling Touch if they want it. So a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's why they wanted to take that level 1 fight.
Bulba, he's still got his Time Walk, of course. He's trading hits nicely with Jerax there. Fear still waiting around, level 1.5, not getting too much done in this laning phase, but if there's ever an opportunity to strike where, maybe Liquid overextend on the Void and think, right, we can get him, we kill him off, or we can do devastating damage to him, Fear is there for the backstab, and maybe the trade-off kill, if he can find it. He's moved up to top as well. Now, AUI, Legion, quelling is up, but Mind Control not really pressured too much in this lane. He's nearly got his phase boots, and that is maybe where he starts to look to TP to other lanes. And again, we look at this DK and Nature's Prophet. They've got a defensive tri lane with great tower pushing power, and then you add in the Dragon Knight and the Furion, who can make up the numbers and come in. There's a hell of a lot of damage between them.
Yeah. Still, EG are getting a lot more out of the laning phase. The Void is in a position where he's not very scared against this tri-lane, or he shouldn't be with that time walk, as they're going to go on him, and Bulba might not be okay here as the Ice Shards catch him out.
Chilling touch is there on the Howl with a cold feet, and Bulba very fast through, but it's not enough. Liquid's first blood, and Fear for the first time in 4 minutes wasn't there, wasn't ready to try and save the day. He's not a saving hero, but just putting your body into the mix might have pushed Liquid out with that.
Yes, both me and Bulba heavily underestimating the amount of damage that Liquid could put out, and obviously they've got two different ways to catch him with the Ice Shards or the Snowball. Probably didn't think he was going to die down there, neither did I, but would end up getting the kill anyways. That's going to be the first blood, helping out this lane. And up at top, like we were talking about, Mind Control already having the phase boots. Gonna hit level 5 after these 2 range creeps as well.
Really good scan there from EG. They realized that, okay, they killed bottom lane, both AA and Tusk. In game number 1, they love to smoke up. You know, they get a kill on off lane, they smoke up, they move mid. So the scan actually sees that the Tuskar was sitting behind this tier 1 towards the mid lane. So whoever did that on EG, well played by you, because Sumail, he freely goes back into the jungle and says, well, I'm not going to get ganked. I'm actually going to go and farm. I'm going to get myself a nice bit of money, stack up some more camps for me. Used raindrops though is an interesting pickup by him.
Oh, I was just talking to him about this and some other Storm players about whether or not this item was viable on Storm, and just feels good is the best way to put it. It helps out some of your survivability. The mana regen doesn't feel fantastic, but it's just nice.
It's there. It's not massively noticeable, but it's just...
It's one of those feel-based things where you can't really explain, but if you play the hero and you play with it, it feels good.
Nice. See how it works out for him then. Mind Control. He does not feel safe. He does not feel as top lane is where he should be. As AUI, he has hit level 6, and with the phase boots, the movement speed could have allowed him to catch up with the duel. Got a lot of damage back onto Mind Control as well. Sits back behind his tier 1, but just look at this. Fanta pops his 6 and starts wailing in on this tier 1 in the middle lane, while down at bottom they have got a catapult wave. They'll have the Wolves, the Howl, and they've got Shreds on Matoma Man. Bulba, without this Darkseer on him, without any kind of wave clear or ability to safely drag aggro back, you know, he's pulled one melee creep away. The second wave comes in, and you're right, the mid tower's dropping.
They're going to go for, or they wanted to go for Fada before they see this haste rune, but PPD's still going to come in, and they can bring him back if they want.
It's a level 2 glimpse into the kinetic field.
Oh, there are 4 heroes coming here for this.
Holds him, in comes Liquid though, and Fata's still alive. They jump in with Sumail, looking for the damage back onto him with the press the attack. They're not going to get it just yet. Oh, Fata's still up with a stun back onto AUI. They're going to try and find the kill back onto him, but it's Jirax who drops. A 2-for-1 so far, but Sumail's got no mana. He's got nothing left to give. A zip to throw some attacks. He's nearly out, but not quite. Storm, not enough.
What a turnaround by Liquid is now they're up 4-1. This mid tower might go down as Fear TP's in, but no dust. But this mid tower is still going to go down. We talked about how important it was for almost all teams in that last game, and with that turnaround, at first they thought they had it, but Dragon Knight being so naturally tanky with those magic raindrops, those infused raindrops, and that magic stick. Yeah, the early pickups just make him so tanky. That was the dual damage under 4 different heroes from EG, and they still couldn't bring him down.
It's intelligence like that where, you know, Fata can often go under the radar as a mid player. You look at him in the mid lane, you're like, well, he lost mid to X player, he lost mid in this matchup, but it's often the way for him. But just because of the heroes that he's given, you know, he loses out on last hits, he loses out in the kind of naked matchup that he's given, but still, with the item choices he makes, with that intelligent decision making he has, he's able to stay alive. And now they TP up towards top lane, the snowball into AUI is ready, and Jirax goes straight on in. Mind Control is ready, and AUI, not long for this world, as a chilling touch damage is more than enough to wipe the floor with him.
And this frenetic pace that Liquid are playing right now, in both games so far, it seems like EG just can't keep up. We heard in the pregame interview, PPD said the team who plays faster is going to win, and so far it's all been Liquid in both games. Sumail goes to this top rune. Like, talked about it before. No real way to gap close for Liquid and get the stun onto a hero like Storm, but still finding kills around the map.
Bulba has been given a little bit of breathing room down at bottom lane, though. His Faceless Void is hit his 6. He's got the Chronosphere available.
I think the issue is that they don't have the best things to pair with the Chronosphere. They don't have the natural damage ability of something like the Witch Doctor ultimate or
An Invoker or anything like that.
yeah, exactly. Even Storm with the right clicks aren't going to add too much. So going for this kill on the
Kuroki. Not sure how this entire situation has actually happened, but AUI, they've got the dual damage onto AUI. Winner for him, +10. Thank you very much.
That was a complete freebie for them.
I'm looking down at bottom lane and I realise, hang on a second, Kuroki, is he setting up for something? What's he waiting for? He cut through trees and he's sitting there, but PPD had his number.
Yeah, he was waiting. And now Liquid, look like they want to go up to top, but gonna get spotted out by EG's ward potentially. Might have seen Jerax cross that line as Fada's gonna make his way into EG's jungle. As they should know that AUI is up here, but I'm not sure they have the damage for this. They're gonna have to bring in both Mind Control and his ultimate if they're gonna hope to get this kill as mid. They see Sumail.
And Kuroki's not level 6 yet. You know, talking about game number 1 where his AA was pretty spot on with his 6 timing. The Dragon Tail Snowball. They've got the stun into Sumail. There's the kinetic field, but it's not gonna save your buddy. Well, AUI wants to join this fight as well. Running forward into Jerax, the Chrono, ready from Bulba. Time dilation's all they need, and the duel back onto Jerax will clear him up. The drums picked up by AUI. And another winner. +20. Now, over in the region. What's happening there?
He's gonna get gone on, but
not
gonna do enough damage to kill him. And even though he doesn't have mana, they are gonna escape as they do lose that top tower. And they blew the glyph there for that one. Just not gonna have it for that bottom push when it inevitably comes.
Did Jerax just ate the? Oh, okay. Chrono. They've caught out Matumba Man and then jumps Sumail Storm. They've got a lot of damage. There's a shapeshift, but Matumba Man, I don't know about this. The snowball saved Jerax. He holds him in, runs him forward. Bulba, they're dropping him low, and Matumba Man's still alive. Sumail zips across. They don't get the vision. They don't see him get it out. Oh, Sumail cannot get the final click in, and he's out of mana as well. Jerax keeps ripping through his HP with Wolf trying to body block up as well. Mind Control TP's forward. Sumail's gone in too deep. He's gone too far. He knew too much, but now he's dead.
Unbelievable that Liquid make the save for their man up there at bottom, but Matumba Man juking and jiving his way out of that. And now this is going to lead to that bottom push, and we talked about how they didn't have the control factor for Sumail Storm in the mid game, but they don't need it if he wastes all of his mana trying to kill that doggy man.
He nearly had him though. He was so close.
That was... Oh, that's going to hurt them so much. That slows down the Storm's progression that much further. Mind Control going to pick up the mech soon. We talked about how difficult it was going to be for EG to fight into that lineup. Storm, not one of those heroes that you want to get into these early 5-on-5 engagements with. Bounty Hunter in a similar situation. The Faceless Void, obviously very cooldown reliant. Liquid just might hit a timing where EG can't really defend or fight.
DK nearly armlet. Matsu, once he got 800 gold on top of Vlad's treads, too shabby. And you've already mentioned that the Mind Control wrapping up his item progression pretty nicely, while EG, what do they look to do? They've lost all tier 1 so far, and I think it might be a smoke time try and catch Liquid off guard, but Sumail wants to continue farming here.
He has to. We just thought... Literally just, you remember, Storm, he just can't fight.
He's got to snowball. He's just got to get these big items up.
But Liquid are going to go for a play. They want to try to get aggressive here. They do have the ward vision. They're going to run into Fear and AUI. Doesn't get hit though.
Double sentry down. Fear. They've got no dust. I can't see him any further. Mind Control's coming in though. Now they've got the dust and Fear. The Sprout and the punch out from Jerax and Mind Control clear him up while Bulba up on the front line.
Really low.
2 seconds until Chrono. Bulba, he's thinking about this one. The jump in from Sumail onto Kuroki. Mind Control. Time to sprint out of that one. There's the Ice Blast down to the Storm. The duel win back onto AUI. But PPD on the back end. The Chrono Static Storm onto Fata.
Oh, they're going to save him
low. Matumba Man in with 1 swipe and down with 2. Fata dropping low and here we go. EG, they clear up 1-2, but Matumba Man's looking for 3-4. He's chasing out Bulba. As AUI trying to look for Mind Control though. The Nature's Prophet. Printed out, the phase boots are up, and the Sprout is ready!
Oh, the Wolf blocks him in!
The Wolf blocking! AUI, your phase boots are there! Can you really chase this one down?
Yeah, he's still going for it as he pops the next drum charge.
The man is ready to fight, though! He will block the entry up on top of that ramp.
Good disengage by Liquid, but EG still pick up a decent amount right there as that combination is going to help them. The gold change does go in their favor. Most importantly, they finally get that level 6 onto Fear. And now these little engagements can really start to turn in their favor, but they really would have liked that 6 beforehand. Still, AUI, 1700 gold, almost has that Blink Dagger. EG really need to take this next fight with the track, though.
Now it's going to be the jump and catch that they really desperately need. And track, like you mentioned, on the Bounty Hunter. But back to your point about Bulba with the combinations, this Chrono, you know, it's good lockdown. It pairs decently with the Disruptor, the Static Storm. They got the kill on Fata, but that's one kill. One kill on a DK, while Matsumo Man just roared through the rest of the fight. And he's nearly got his Necro 1 completed.
It's just difficult for them to go for these big team fight lockdowns because of how mobile a lot of these Liquid heroes can be. It's going to come down to who AUI decides to go for in duels as well.
And EG can't really, or haven't really itemized, you know, or picked heroes for taking Roshan. There's very little minus armor or anything like that.
Exactly.
So if they want to take the Aegis, they've got to win a fight, and it might just come down to Liquid waltzing into the pit and saying thank you very much.
Liquid try to just get map control before they make any sort of play like that, though. Is they pick up the Necro Book 1 on the Matama Man and that Armlet on the Fata. That might actually just prompt them to decide to go for a straight up push. As EG, the only wave clear that they have is going to be the overwhelming odds from this Legion Commander. And yeah, that's exactly what they're going to go for. Is it seems to be the target. Is Fata's going to get gone on with the Thunderstrike, and they're going to bring him back for this.
Into the Static Storm he goes, and with the track, but have used 3 ultis on him. They get the dual win now. What about the rest of Liquid? Vortex back, Mind Control is dragged in.
The
Ice Blast catches them, and Matsu chases them down. Bulba's gone. Owie. Oh, you cannot fight the Wolfman. Matsumo's tracked up. He's actually dropping low. Sumail turns. He gets the kill back. Mind Control. Can you get any more? Sumail.
Oh, they're going to grab him.
Long range snipe from Jirax. And a buyback from Sumail. Oh, they're going to try and use these tracks coming through. There's the
Oh, he dodges it!
He gets stunned up as well. Sumail jumps forward. The track on the Mind Control. They want this goal. They want the money, and he's going to get it. But the track, it expired. Jirax chase down Sumail. He'll get 2 for his buyback, but Blitz, was that buyback worth it?
In a way, just because of the amount of XP he grabs, he's level 12. Almost a sick play from Jirax, getting onto that high ground to dodge that Shuriken and that Storm's initial roll, but still, a lot of that fight did get 3 of those tracks off, but it did cost you a buyback on Storm, so not the kind of lead that they wanted. Still, they don't lose the tower, most importantly, and that's going to reset a lot of these timings from Liquid. No Dragon Form for another 40 seconds. It's going to buy EG a little bit of breathing room. This time around, it doesn't like EG want to allow Liquid to just run all over them.
We're still closing in on that Blink Dagger for AUI, but a little bit of a pickup here from Bulba that I've noticed, and we saw this from Bulldog the other day on Alliance, and Loda, the Echo Saber on Faceless Void. Okay, now I said Liquid might want to just waltz into the Roche Pit and take it, but honestly, with 5 heroes alive from EG, I wasn't expecting it as brash as this.
They know that Chrono's down. That's the most important spell right now for EG to be able to contest this. The good news for EG, though, is they have a lot of different Roche heroes. During their most dominant era at TI5, Storm plus Roche Pit, one of the more scary ventures for them is they don't have that hard lockdown like we talked about, and tracks are coming up for...
Sumail up on top of that nice little spire, and he's going to keep himself... These remnants giving vision, a little attack down, but equally Mind Control is sprouting up on high ground as well to try and give the intel back to Liquid and Sumail. Thinking about this, PPD runs forward, but it's the fight kicking off. The Static Storm, it catches 2, and in comes AUI with a duel.
Oh, the 4-man Chrono
there as well. The Ice Blast back onto them though. EG, they're dropping low with the winner back onto AUI, but the snowball forward. Who can they catch? It's Jirax alone. There's no one coming through except for Mind Control, who looks for the kill. The Storm, the final hit. They've caught them. Liquid, they're actually doing it now. Back into the Roche they go.
Despite the 4-man Chrono, still unable to win that fight. Liquid just a little bit too strong with that AA Ice Blast and that mech. Now it's going to be this easy Roche. And with all the tracks up on them, still, they don't care as everybody from EG is still down, no Storm available, and Matama Man's going to pick up the Aegis. Liquid further getting map control out of this.
Fata is the only one, it seems, that's dying during these chronos. They lock him down, they try and kill him off, realizing that he's popped his dragon form. This arm that's annoying will actually try and focus him down, and they succeed. They get dual wins on it. And AUI is racking up damage.
Yeah, the good news though for EG is they're still getting a lot of levels on Sumail. And on the flip side of things, Liquid, Fata's already stagnated at level 10. Not going to get over that level 11 hump at any time soon. Sumail's still the highest level in the game, still has a reasonable amount of farm, not too far behind, but Liquid's lineup, they are geared for getting into these kinds of engagements early on.
Maelstrom, Nature's Prophet, Lycan, is that Necro 2 over in the courier? It looks like it is available for him and very close to Necro 3. How many towers are left? Tier 2 on its last legs. Very little HP left and Tier 2 up at top. Still a little bit left, but Bulba, EG, they're very concentrated at shoving out these waves, aren't they? Just keep Equilibrium away and across the other side of the river as much as possible for now, at least.
They know the push is going to come soon. You're going to try to play a little bit greedy. Liquid's one downside is going for these mid-game pickoffs aren't as strong, so EG are farming with impunity. They do have good defensive ward vision now. This Fear's going to scout. Fata coming into his jungle. They're going to get the track off too. Nobody from Liquid here to punish this quite yet as Mind Control TPs to the left. Fear just trying to avoid vision as he should be fine in this situation.
Does look like he's okay. Timberman, he's counted out a number here of EG, AUI being one of them. PPD returns himself back to the tier 3.
AUI is getting a lot of dual damage too.
He is. Was it plus 58 now, it looked like?
Yeah, this game is still fairly heavily in Liquid's favor, but they are getting a decent amount of dual damage. The Storm does have a really good amount of levels, and the one downside of going for this 5-man play from Liquid, or 5-man play in general, is you do typically get a little bit behind in levels.
It's pretty nice though, the fact that Matuma Man with the Aegis is able to push tier 2 mids, you know, like we saw from him in game 1 with the Lone Druid, he is off.
They might just keep going. Dragon Form is up for a reasonable amount of time. Matuma Man does have that Aegis and the Necro 3.
Oh boy.
They've got so many different summons to go for this.
EG, are you ready for this? Are you prepped? I mean, Sumail still yet to have that Bloodstone. He's closing in on it and he's actually sending his courier back out to the secret shop to finish it off. But Liquid, taking the tier 3 down to a third of its HP, and well, there's the glyph expended. EG will try and hold on to this. There's no glimpse onto Matuma Man. Now there is. Back into the field, and the dual win back onto Aoi as well. As the Aegis gone only though. Well, Storm, Bloodstone ready. Could be the jump that EG have been looking for. Tracks just keep flowing out, keep and vision, and also the threat of gold being given over to your enemies there, and Liquid, they don't want to get involved in this fight right here.
They might find that they're looking for the glimpse right now, and that's going to mean Liquid has to take this fight, or at least gather together. Track plus glimpse obviously being a very strong combination.
Look at that, trapped in the shards, PPD, but there's no dragon form, and like Liquid, well, just go back to farming up these lanes.
They gotta get back as a team. In that situation, Gareth, it's really easy for
one to get picked.
Exactly, and that's why they decided to back as a group, but Fear might get picked off here.
Fear is the one, the Ice Blast barely catches him. Is he gonna drop though as Jirax throws the shard and finishes him off, but it's a track kill and a buyback. Fear, do you really want to come into this battle again? They're holding on to Chrono as well as Sumail, the duel back with the Jirax, but in comes the Lycan, the big bad wolf. Chrono lands on the two of them though, as Mind Control and Matsu are both caught in. Fata walked into that one as well, but Sumail, there we go, damage back. Masses of units in this area, Matuma Man dies! He doesn't have a second life, and Fata trying to hold his ground and battle through this, but EG might have found the way into this fight as AUI. When's the duel coming up? 29 seconds, doesn't look for the kill. They don't care about that one, but they've got a Static Storm! Fata's dead! 4 gone for Liquid and Kuroki! ATPs! No glimpse and no shuriken. But EG, that's not defending your high ground, that's not defending your tier 3s, that's Liquid maybe getting a little bit too overzealous with, hey look, there's a bounty there, we'll kill him.
Yeah, they found the opportunity, they thought it was going to be a one-off kill, and really underestimating the amount of damage that EG can put out.
Oh, wait a second. Sumail, he got the Bloodstone and now he's down to 9. Bloodstone got buffed to 12, right?
Yeah, he died.
Okay. He did indeed.
Yeah. Look at the XP just dramatically fall. Now it's slightly, ever so slightly, in EG's favor. Gold is still in favor of Liquid, but we talked about it again. When it comes to the ultra late game, the Storm is going to be able to do a lot of work. The amount of dual damage coming out onto AUI is starting to get a little bit scary, and now the Liquid push lineup is losing a little bit of their momentum. They're probably going to have to wait for this next Aegis, but then you've got to deal with the Storm with the Bloodstone.
Even with the glyph being popped out, they want to go for the safe route and just make sure that they can push high ground with one of their heroes, the Lycan, just getting up on the high ground.
Oh, Fada
defending tier 1s.
Not willing to run into those remnants. They should have vision right there as Fear. Gonna bump into him in a second here.
Liquid all converging onto their own tier 1. Down out bottom lane, while Bulba, he went back for the Maelstrom after the Echo Saber. Oh, Fear, are you looking for the Courier Snipe? You're not going to find it. It's long gone. It's well on its way back home, but it might be actually aiming for Matumba Man mid. AUI is scattered out by this Wolf, though, and you'll see it die and then realise, well, there wasn't really a chance of jumping onto the Lycan there. Good play by Matu, keeping that vision over onto them.
Good amount of levels on the cores of EG, though. It's going to enable them to stay in this game still. Sumail, even that early buyback, not costing him too much. And that's the crazy thing about Sumail is it feels in some games he gets a little bit too overzealous and he picks up too many deaths. 7 in this game alone, but if you just compare net worth, not very far behind. In levels, he is so far ahead of the other cores on Liquid. Dragon Knight right now, Fada still rocking level 11.
Radiant's Courier does get sniped, and Fear, is he going to pay for his life? They pop the Necro 3s, and looks like he will. Even the Shapeshift expended there by Matumba Man. He's had enough of that bloody Bounty Hunter.
Still,
We saw the
that's enough space that they created. The Necro 3 was used for that.
Yeah.
He's trying to find wards if he can, potentially. Instead, gonna go for the farm.
Courier.
Doesn't check that mid area.
We found the TP top to look for Legion. Courier was sniped. Necro's popped. Shapeshift down as well. And you were talking about EG trying to stall this push and maybe a little bit of Liquid running out of gas, at least for the next couple of minutes until that Roshan respawns.
Yeah, for the time being, EG are in a really good spot. Anytime you can split up and farm with heroes like Storm, you're going to get so far ahead in levels. That's exactly what we're seeing here. As XP now 3k ahead in favor of EG, already breaking the largest lead that Liquid had in that regard. And net worth still in Liquid's favor, but big team fight ultimates, EG have them, and that can close the gap in net worth very quickly.
EG all grouped up towards their tier 3 mid. I'm not going to actually go for anything there. The scan out from Liquid, looking for maybe a smoke rotation down towards bottom lane, and of course this tier 1 down the bottom. It's an easy one to go for EG potentially, you know, in the grand scheme of things. But Liquid are doing a very good job of defending it and actually looking across the map. Liquid have done an excellent job at keeping all of their tier 1s not just alive, but on almost full health, while EG haven't had a leg to stand on if they wanted to try and push into them.
All it does take, though, is one fight. Any sort of engagement where EG can push out all 3 lanes.
A Domino's topple.
Yeah, they're going to go for a smoke. EG, they want to fight behind their Chrono, and might even catch Matumba Man out as he's not careful. They're going to go for him.
From behind, though, they catch Matumba Man, but in the back is Faster looking for the stun and the damage. Matumba Man dueled up and killed off with the Ice Blast, lands onto Sumail and punched out of the game as AUI turns into the middle of 3 Liquid heroes, realizes that's not where Pop occur, and he's caught in a Sprout as well. Faster with a double kill now, sprinting forward looking for more. But Fear and PPD found a little bit of safety up on the high ground. They've got to try and TP. Oh, Blitz, does this allow them to transfer into a push onto high ground?
Yeah, they're going to go for bottom right now. At least deal a little bit of damage as Fada has a bit of that Dragon Form to go. Trying to punish this as EG. Going to come back now. PPD out of mana, but Glyph is going to get popped in 5 seconds. That's going to be a Sumail Storm coming back at you. And Fear already in position to try to get some tracks off.
We're looking at Sumail now, I guess with the fact that, you know, we've talked a lot about the lack of disables here against him. He can just go all out aggression, go for damage, go for stuns and lockdown and all that himself. It looks like it's going to be the Orchid for him. Now, who's going to be his primary target? Is that going to be an item for kind of solo pickoffs for the meantime? Look for the AA and the Tusk?
Yeah, it's going to make it so that Mind Control can't really get out of his base, but even then, the Orchid's just one of those items on Storm that scale really well with him. Especially since you can grab that Bloodthorn later on into the game. It provides him with mana regen, a bit of flat damage, and more importantly, attack speed. There aren't a lot of attack speed items that most Storm players can feel comfortable going for. At ultra late game, of course, the Moon Shards are alright, but...
You're not going to buy like a Mjolnir or something on Storm, even if you want to be the Super Lightning Wizard.
Or get just kind of one of those catch-alls. It solves just a lot of your issues at once.
Good all-round item. Fear. He has seen Mind Control and the rest of EG. They are rampant.
Might be another duel.
Into the Radiant Jungle. AUI currently sitting on a flat 100 bonus damage. They're going to see MC and Nature's Prophet. Well, the Snowball save comes through and the Ice Blast onto Sumail and AUI. The BKB's forced out and they turn it around again with the Static Storm not doing too much. AUI's caught in a Sprout and Matuma Man just shreds through the ranks of EG. One by one they fall. Team Liquid. Where's Sumail? TP's out. Nice little ball zap across. Bulba. He was way out of position there. Not, a fault of his own, but his team went in way ahead.
Yeah. Jarex thought, okay, he's not going to pop the BKB before the duel, then just snowball right back on top of him, waste a lot of the time of that duel, get that AA Ice Blast, and EG, they can still take this fight. They have Chrono available. The buyback's been committed as well, but without Fear there, you're not going to get the most even of trades.
Mind Control
has that Hex now. It's going to make Sumail's life even harder as he's nowhere near a BKB of his own.
Range racks are gone. Bulba.
Trying not to show it, and he might actually just overcommit for this.
That's the Hex into stun. The Sprout is there, but they press the attack. They've saved Sumail, at least for now, with 3-man Chrono on the back. Bulba holds them in place, but the damage isn't quite here yet for EG. While Fanta dueled up, they'll find the kill back onto him, but there's no win for AUI.
They need to get a lot of kills out of this as multiple track kills are happening.
Mind Control chased down. They've killed off 3, and there's the mech back onto him, but he will lose his life, and Liquid overextend, even with the perfect play onto the Storm Spirit with that newly picked up Hex. Press the attack from AUI saves everything for EG.
More importantly than that, Bulba's counter initiation with the Chrono proving to be the key there for them is now they might have the opportunity to go for the Roshan with 4 Liquid heroes down. No contesting this, and this is going to further delay the game and just make things even more worrisome for Team Liquid as Storm with an Aegis obviously going to be very difficult for them to take down. And even more than that, the press the attack countering the one disable that Liquid have to reliably lead with.
He just holds it. As long as AUI doesn't get caught out, hold it for the Storm Spirit to save him up. Of course, it was just a range racks mid. Melee still standing, and top is naked. Tier 3 was dropped quite some time ago, but EG can go Scepter and a Tome of Knowledge for PPD, get himself some levels, and also give him a little bit more survivability up against the Dragonite and the Lycan, but I think more importantly those little Necro books with the AC Vlads and Matuma Man do a hell of a lot of damage back with the minus armor on them.
Yeah, Ghost Scepter completed on the Disruptor, just going to make it hard for the right-click focus him down. Maybe get a few more spells off in team fights. Ancient Apparition is going to get that Glimmer Cape to help whoever gets caught in that Static Storm. Nobody from Liquid opting to get a BKB, mainly because there's so many different things that can go through it. The duel, you've got obviously the Chronos here are going to be the major ability, and Liquid, they just have to stop getting chronoed with so many key targets.
It's like 3 or 4 man Chronos all day long from Bulba.
Yeah, he's been in 15 out of their 20 kills, enabled so much for this team, and there were a lot of doubts coming into this new EG roster, but in this game,
he's shining
very well for himself. He's kept up in farm too, second on his team, ahead of the Dragonite by a healthy margin.
He has been an absolute star so far, and with that BKB Maelstrom Echo Saber, he can start now looking towards attack speed with the Mjolnir. Maybe even go in for something like an Assault Cuirass himself, or maybe that's going to be for AUI. His Chainmail sitting already pretty in his inventory, but finally, EG, I get to go and push a tier 1 Tower Blitz.
And this is going to be one that Liquid should not contest. They don't have any vision down on the south side of the map.
Whereas EG, they've got vision on the lane behind the tier 1, they're pushing themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And if you set up this well on the side of EG, there's almost no way that Liquid know if they have heroes sitting behind Sumail. He could just be behind here alone, but why risk it? Not for a tier 1 tower, and now the items are going to start pouring in for EG. Sumail is 3,600 gold after that mid-fight. But Liquid are set up.
Liquid poking and prodding up atop a little bit, but they want to come back and defend bottom. Sumail. Oh,
Gonna jump really far away. Still has a lot of mana to work with.
TP as well.
Yeah, they're even pinging the direct area that he's on top of, but nobody from Liquid ready for that.
Fata, I think, was millimeters away there from stunning. I don't know if he was in range or if he was maybe just waiting for that perfect opportunity for the rest of his team to come in, but it was very tight. Well, maybe could have been picked there, or at least had the Aegis burnt and expended. Mind control. He returns back up the top, and now the tables have turned a little bit. Liquid are the ones on the back foot having to deal with the push coming in from EG. The fact they've got these items, and EG feel bolstered by this. That they feel they're ready to go out and fight, and they will smoke themselves up and run towards the tier 1 mid.
They should take this fight. They are incredibly strong right now. You can clearly tell that Liquid doesn't want to fight into this Aegis Storm if they can help it. EG is going to use that to their advantage, and they might even catch Jerax here as it's a blink off.
Not today, my dear friends. Not today.
Yeah. Sumail still at 10 Bloodstone charges, decently healthy amount, but Liquid just trying to buy time right now. The Aegis.
Oh, he nearly has Lincoln's on Storm as well. He is very close to Lincoln Sphere, so not only will we have Press the Attack dispelling disables on him, but they won't even be able to land them onto him. What's going on with the Ice Blast onto Bull, but the BKB turns to Chrono, catches 2, Kuroki is the target of choice, Mind Control, he can't heck to be stunned, and the duel comes through as well. AUI catches the kill, there's the duel win, 2 down for Liquid, 1 down for EG, and Sumail just continues running through this enemy base. Evil Geniuses, what's that? Liquid? Jerax? Trying to snowball into PPD. But Evil Geniuses, they have a lot of courage behind them, and they're finding these kills. It's paying off.
Yeah, now you've got even Bloodstone charges on a Sumail. More dual damage, 118 to AUI's name. Doing quite well for himself in this game, and Liquid, at some point it's going to be so hard for them to kill either of these cores. The BKB Void lasted for so long too.
And the thing is that Chrono was used so early on in the team fight that even if Liquid were to go, right, Chrono's down, we can go and push, we can go and fight, can't, because Mind Control's dead for so long that when he's alive it'll only be like 20-15 seconds or so that the Void will have to wait for Chrono to be back up.
Yeah, that's going to be the Lincolns now onto the Storm. Blink Dagger's going to be the choice for Mind Controls. They need a more reliable way to start these fights. Most of it is just Liquid getting initiated on and trying to hold the line. Maybe with this Blink Hex they can make something happen. The spot is going to go Silver Edge in. And that gold lead, at some point that was nearing 12k, almost at 0.
It has plummeted for Team Liquid, and they've got this observer ward up at the top racks. They really wanted to try and utilize that maybe a little bit better, but not having the opportunity. Glyph, of course, is available again for Evil Geniuses to defend their base. With all the lanes controlled up by Liquid now. Matumba Man, 3200 saved up. Been holding on to Quelling Blade and TP for quite some time. After the Vlad's AC and the Necrobook, the kind of regular pushing items and a little bit of fighting, a little bit of battling from the Lycan. What does he really aim to do here? Because pushing all in, it hasn't worked so far, or are you waiting for that one big fight to enable yourself to go in?
Maybe he even grabs a little bit more flat HP. Could decide to go for a heart of his own. BKB obviously.
DK heart, Lycan heart.
Yeah. Just gets very tanky. Is up at top. Liquid.
Sumail.
They pop a lot of different abilities.
Turn back with the Mind Control. The Ice Blast isn't going to hit anyone. Whiffs completely, and MC's gone. The BKB from Bulba.
He still has that Chrono too. Liquid have to get out of here.
As well, Fata caught in it. The Ice Shard's trying to block him in. That's a nice little bit of safety there for the DK, but the jump in from AUI. Look for the duel. Turns back with the stun. Fata catches him. AUI's being burnt through and he's gone. That Lotus Shell will not save you from anyone. So Mail, the Lincoln has popped and he's dead as well. The Static Storm from PPD. It doesn't do a bloody thing to save you from this monstrous dragon for Fata from Liquid.
All of a sudden, Liquid turned that around. They don't even hit the Ice Blast. They get caught by the Chrono.
They don't hex anyone.
They have enough damage. I'm not sure how they were able to hold that one. PPD immediately going to buy back. They don't want to do it on the Storm if they can help it. AUI does have the buyback available, but they can't really afford to give up the second set of racks.
I think the blink into the Chrono from AUI, you know, it's the move you wanted to make for the duel onto the DK, but those Ice Shards from Jerax.
Yeah, they ended up just popping them immediately as a result.
Those Ice Shards were perfect as well, because they just created this barrier inside the Chrono, all the way around. No one could touch the...
And for a second, it really looked like EG were just kind of
rolling.
Yeah, they had all of this momentum built up. Team fights were going in the direction. Up at top, they lost to Nature's Prophet, who has the second amount of highest net worth in the game. And he wasn't able to get anything off, and they still win the fight. No AA Ice Blast.
Insane stuff.
Yeah, EG just got a little bit too overconfident there.
Still though, no objectives taken by Liquid after that fight.
Yeah,
Rack
maybe
still
it was intentional. You know, miss everything.
Yeah.
Lose your second highest
Still
net worth
win.
hero. Still win the fight.
Look what we can do to you, even without our strongest abilities and heroes. Cower in fear, evil geniuses, because Liquid, they are after you and they seem to have your number. 32 to 23. Now 38 minutes in now, and we have seen a bit of a bimodal distribution in games. We see a lot of sort of 35, 40-minute games or 65, 70-minute games as things do drag out and both teams even up in terms of farm and
Was the
net worth.
BKB, by the way, on Matama Man, and a heart finally completed.
Oh yeah.
On Fada. They've got a decent amount of farm now to back themselves up. And Fada, who is almost always getting blown up in those chronospheres, now has a lot of HP to back up his armor, making it even more effective.
They are tanky guys. EG, time to chill at the Winchester, have a pint, and hope this all blows over, because right now, in Liquid, they are starting to knock on their front doors. Evil Genius is actually moving out of their base here. Bulba, Fear, far forward, Sumail of course. Now with a Plate Mail looking for that Shiver's Guard, but Liquid, top and mid, looking for these two full lanes of barracks. Dragon Knight.
Oh, Fear's gonna get spotted here.
Nice Force Staff. The Echo Shell on him as well. It's going to be difficult to catch. Little Bounty Hunter, but Fata is Invis. Silver Edge stuns PPD and the Ice Blast lands down. Not going to catch any heroes as Sumail just tries to slow things down.
Oh, Bulba's in the middle of this,
Where
though.
is Bulba going? BKB's up, but doesn't Chrono.
It's gonna go down in a second
Oh,
here.
there we go. On to Fata.
This is not the target that you want to go for, though.
Actually kill him off. The damage isn't there. The Shuriken bounces back and falls dead. Sumail, time to sprint away and Bull Lightning into Fountain. Your racks are falling. The Glyph is here, but Evil Genius's buyback there on the void. What's AUI? He's in the middle of 4. He went in alone. There's no one to save him. They're bleeding blue, but they're bleeding for nothing. Evil Geniuses, they're going to lose 2 lanes of racks. The 2 buybacks come out. But Blitz, what have they got left to give?
They don't have the Chronosphere available. The duel's on cooldown too, and Sumail's just gonna have to make this happen
But
wherever how he
so
can.
tanky, pops his BKB and says, yeah, what up, Sumail? Come at me, bro. X back onto him. There's the press attack with a lot of sword back onto Sumail as well, but Liquid run through every single player of Evil Geniuses and then run the hell back out after they've taken 2 full lanes of barracks.
So many opportunities for EG to win this game as they battled back from that 12k deficit, almost bringing it back to 0 at one point, all the way down to 1k and XP. Well on their way to a 10k lead. They had a lot of dual damage built up on AUI, 136 already. Stormster was getting a decent amount of Bloodstone charges, and then all of a sudden that one fight at top starts the momentum. Then that mid engagement where they just lost so many different heroes. The Chronosphere on Fada once again. Fada's just got to be sitting in his booth laughing right now because this is the last target that you want to go for the Chronosphere on. But it's not like you can leave him alone, because as soon as you disengage, that heart regen starts to kick back in. Now EG are in a position, a little bit desperate, 2 racks behind. They have to go for this Vegas if they can help it. Fear gonna run into Matama Man. He's gonna scout ahead.
I've got a gem on the Storm, seeing the little Wolfies come through, and he's actually going to jump on to Kuroki in the back, but the big Wolfie's here now. Mana expended by Sumail, glimpse back into the field, but Matama Man is actually sprinting through, and he's still holding onto his BKB.
He's got
Jumps off
Chrono, too.
cooldown right now, Bulba, there we go, catches the Wolf. The damage output, where is it? Sumail zip over the front now into Matuma Man, wailing into this Wolf for the BKB. Pops and turns, the crits come through. Matuma Man, 1v3 almost.
Sumail's running out of mana fast.
He's got nothing left. The stack Storm's trying to hold their place, but the BKBs are here from Team Liquid, and Sumail is chasing Jirax. Snowball through the Sprout. And Sumail, the Shiver's Guard, is going to get the kill, but he loses his life. And a 5-man wipe. Team Liquid looking hot at Epicenter.
I'm not sure how they're making these fights work. -2 heroes and
It's
CBD
over.
calls good game before
Over.
last Rex even
Absolutely
falls.
steaming performance from Team Liquid. 2-0ing Evil Geniuses here. What a cracking series.
Looked a little bit sloppy in the mid game, but Liquid eventually making it happen. And this is what happens when you play against this kind of push lineup. All it takes is 1 or 2 mistakes. Now you're down 2 sets of racks. And EG after that last fight decide no buybacks available, nothing left to fight.
Insane stuff. So Liquid 2-0, they head themselves through. Evil Geniuses down into the lower bracket, but that's the series done. For myself, Gareth, and Blitz, thanks for watching.